Folks, hello and welcome to Gamers Health. I know that sounded really bad, right?
Gamers Ho.
Gamers Health. You don't want me singing this fine evening. Trust me, folks. At least I don't think you do. In any case, I am Rach Tenkar. With me is my lovely wife, Rachel,
Hello.
and we do this every Saturday night, 8 p.m. We talk about issues in our lives that may be similar to issues that affect you in your life. We talk the gauntlet, and today's going to probably cover much of that gauntlet. So, I think we'll start with the topic that applies to both of us because we both had follow ups this week.
Mm-hmm.
You had to bring back, at the end of last week, you brought back your heart monitor.
Right. And I got the results this week, a couple days ago. And it was fine. It's no arrhythmia. Sorry, I can't speak. No arrhythmias or electrical problems with my heart. So my heart is functioning.
Within parameters.
Yeah, absolutely normally. So
Not that we're saying that Rach is absolutely normal. Okay, neither one of us necessarily are, but yeah, she got a
that's
clean.
boring.
She got a clean bill of health.
Yeah.
I on Tuesday, I had to go in for heart testing, which was
Your
heart
sonograms
and a heart PET, a heart PET,
and your stress test, which was
part of the PET. So, long story short, my BNP, whichever the numbers are, that's from the blood test from the prior week, shows that my heart is perfectly normal. Is for the blood test, 49.5, under 100. There's likely no congestive heart failure. My sonogram, which when I first saw my cardiologist nearly 2 years ago, showed that I had an ejection fraction of 15%. Under 40 is congestive heart failure. When I left the hospital after getting, initially 3 new stents, I had to go back the following week for the 4th stent. Shadow, welcome.
Hey.
So the sonogram showed that my ejection fraction is 45%, better than we could have hoped. Doing real well. And I'd like to thank Red Wine for helping. I gotta find an excuse I can use that for, right? So, but the PET part of it is stress. Without stress, my heart looked fine. With stress, one of the stents was showing like a backflow, or it wasn't showing the perfection that my doctor wanted. And he was like, listen, 50-50 chance that a year and a half, 2 years from now, you may have an issue or you won't have an issue ever. He goes, but I don't like 50-50 odds. I go, I don't like 50-50 odds either. In gaming, I'll take 50-50 odds. You're giving me a 50-50 chance that I can kill this rig with one blow, I'll take it. And if I fail, I get my ass kicked. Not a big deal. In this case, I was like, all right, yeah. So I actually got called yesterday by the hospital to set up my angiogram. And it could have been as early as this coming Thursday, but I have doctor's appointments for my father that I need to attend. And also I need my parents to get me to this appointment and bring me back. Because Rach doesn't...
out on the island and I can't drive.
Right. Rach doesn't drive, and that
they
is...
don't let me drive.
I knew that. I knew that when I met her. I knew I wasn't getting...
You knew you weren't going to get driven around.
Yeah, it's like I'm not getting a co-pilot. I'm going to be... That's okay. I did a lot of driving as a cop anyway. So... So it looks like it's going to be in basically 3 weeks. I guess a week after St. Patty's Day. I'll confirm all that on Monday. It's going to be outpatient. So you go in the morning, you're out by the evening. They never put you out. They make you a little dopey. It should be easy and fun. But listen, anything that I had control over, well, I was told, I should lose a little weight. I think we've all been told that in our lives.
Yeah.
And I know I need to lose a little weight.
Every day. No.
But you know what? That which was in my control, that which I could put effort into, by eating better and by exercising and taking these walks and trying to get enough sleep every night, that that is fine. This is one that's out of my control, but should be easily corrected. So, uh, overall, I would give that appointment like a B plus. A plus would have been getting the see you in 6 months or a year, as opposed to we got to go in and do a little tuning. So could have been could have been just a wee bit better, but not better at all. So that is like those are the major events of this week. It's kind of been busy. Um, Now I know there was a request. I think we'll do the request on Meniere's disease. We'll do that in a little bit. Only reason why I want to make sure that the individual that asked about it, we can give them
Yeah,
time.
I don't think I've seen that person.
Well, that, and let's be honest. I mean, we actually started pretty much on time, and that's
they're not used to that, huh?
that's a rarity on these live streams. Any night, it's not something that commonly happens. But we're Catholic, and as Catholics, we try. I don't succeed. We try to be cognizant of Lent and Lenten obligations, and for such, one of the things is your meatless Fridays until Easter. And I don't know if you realize this, but if you're trying to eat low carb, meatless Fridays aren't easy, because usually a meatless Friday is a lot of pasta. And you can't.
Or fish or shrimps.
Or pizza.
Pizza.
Right? And these are things that you have to be very careful eating.
Right. And then even the Impossible Burgers, we did that once last year, and then we were sort of like, but what was the real intention,
I didn't have an issue with the real intention. I was just kind of like, It's okay, but I still knew I wasn't eating a real burger because it was dry as shit. So
I thought you liked it.
Oh, it wasn't bad, but it was drier than I knew. I knew I wasn't eating a real.
You
burger.
knew it wasn't meat?
I knew it wasn't meat. Yes.
Wow.
Or it was a thinner, overcooked patty of meat. It didn't taste like a Whopper would taste.
I don't know. I thought it was pretty big.
Yeah, it was the patty itself was the same Whopper size, but it seemed thinner. And I don't know if that's because it has to cook at a different temperature or what the deal is. I don't know. So,
then also they say that it's got a lot of carbs and a lot of soy, so isn't really helping us with our goals.
Right.
So
you gotta have to work around it. So for breakfast, I make omelets most mornings. Wasn't a huge change. It's always we each get one whole egg, and then I scramble it up, and then I add egg whites until whatever point they say it looks good. So we're probably getting one whole egg and 2 to 3 servings of egg whites in our omelet. This was probably 3 to 4 servings of egg whites because I was like, we're not having our normal sausages to go along with this. It isn't like I'm making the burritos and I'm putting in bacon. So what I did, I made we had that with
English muffin.
Well, onions and peppers, which I always do for the omelet, and then I put in more cheese than usual and more salsa than usual because I figured you need more of a flavor pop because you're not getting the extra flavor from the meat.
Mm-hmm.
And we did English muffins and a slice of toast each, so a little extra carbs. The bread was low carb. The English muffins are light, but they're still carby. So you kind of have to work around it. This is nonsense. I'm sorry, Shad. Sorry, man. You demand a cooking stream. No, they don't. No. Here's the deal.
Oh, we should do that one day.
See, it's Shad, and all due respect, man, but fuck you for making extra work, right?
It's a good idea just to do something a little different.
Well,
we could cook up this stir fry for them.
All right.
You know.
So here's the deal. So then for dinner,
it would mean we'd have to clean up the kitchen a lot, like get rid of a lot of the clutter in there for it to be on camera.
Ain't happening. So chances are, can you see it? That part just ain't happening. But honestly, though, for the dinner part, I was kind of like, oh, geez, what do I make? And listen, we have the what do you call that? I want to say shiitake, but it's not shiitake. Those are mushrooms. The konjac noodles. So you can make a fake pasta, but usually I like to make that with a sausage because it kind of gives flavor to the fake pasta. That doesn't have much flavor. So I was like, that's one option. The other option, we have cauliflower fried rice. You can buy it at Costco. And so what I did, and we discussed it, I put a little oil in a nice deep pan. I put in some onions and peppers, like I normally do with the breakfast, because I wanted to bounce it out. I found out we had an Asian vegetable medley in the freezer, so I shoved that in the microwave in its microwavable pouch. Now this is cauliflower rice, so and we also have low sodium soy sauce, delicious. So cooking this up, I had to steam it with the top on the pan because otherwise the frozen vegetables don't cook. But then the issue with that is it means you don't lose the moisture, and you need to lose the moisture when you're dealing with cauliflower of any type. Whether you're making mashed cauliflower or cauliflower rice, there's so much water that it holds. So I had to literally cook it down, and added the other vegetables in. And I added some plain cauliflower rice that wasn't the cauliflower flavored fried rice that Costco had. In any case, made more than I thought we might need, but again, there's no protein. All right. Rachel's like, we could have bought tofu. Yeah, we could have bought tofu, but then I'd have to eat tofu.
Or we just could have ordered it out too, like if we wanted to have,
what,
that fried tofu from the Thai spot.
Yeah,
with the peanut dressing.
Here's the thing, folks. Now, and this is going to be a comment for those of you who are married or in relationships. It's called selective listening. I just said I would have to eat tofu. Rach didn't hear that part. She heard that would mean I'd have to eat, I don't know, unfried tofu with proper peanut sauce on it.
Yeah, then make it nice.
I don't like...
it's not like when you cook it at home and it has this strange texture, Not that soy is even that great for you, but I don't know.
Okay, so here, again...
Just trying to find options.
Selective hearing. I love Rach to death. But she wanted... She was like, we could have ordered out. Eric didn't have to make it. I could have gotten my soy.
No, I enjoyed my meal thoroughly. Please know this.
I know. You ate everything.
Yeah, and I don't usually do that. Right. So.
Right. I mean, maybe next Friday we'll go down to the pub and have fish and chips.
Oh, you always like that around.
Yeah, but instead of getting the chips, I get a salad. So,
okay.
That could work too.
That could work.
But that's also fish and chips is going to be greasy.
Yeah.
And it's going to be breaded. So again, the carb issue is.
Or we can get their salmon or their cod. They have different fishes.
They do,
especially for now.
Yeah,
they understand.
They understand, but these are when you're trying to be carb conscious. Before it was like, oh, all right, it's a Friday in Lent. I'm gonna have spaghetti with a non-meat sauce. So I'll have spaghetti marinara, have some fresh mutts, throw some fresh mutts in it, have a salad. That's fine. Oh, I'll have a plain,
with garlic bread. That's what we would have done in the past.
And when you're actually paying attention to your blood sugar and your A1C, and you admit to yourself, yes, I'm a type 2 diabetic, then you have to manage those numbers yourself. They don't manage themselves. So have we found out that there is a surprisingly good uh, square deep dish pizzeria in Brooklyn that through Uber delivers out by us, which blew my mind, did not throw my blood sugar in the wind. It spiked it, but a spike I could live with.
Because it was like this thick.
Yeah. But they really put a lot of meat and a lot of veggies
But
on
the
it.
dough was,
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe maybe they're not using a pure wheat dough, but it did not wreck me. So I don't know. These are just things to like. We also have another pizzeria that we order from, Singer's, and if I get a Singer's pizza and I get the everything special without olives because I won't eat the olives, I can probably eat, and these are personal pizzas, but I can eat like half a personal pizza, and my blood sugar numbers won't spike much because I'm bringing in all this other low carb material, whether it's vegetable, pepperoni, sausage, ground beef, mushrooms, onions, peppers. This is all coming in, the cheese, and it's moderating the blood sugar spike. So we've noticed that, and that's something that if you are dealing with an issue like diabetes, again, these sensors, which I have a patch on top of, but you can kind of see it. These are great because they give you, like, you can check before you eat. You don't have to pinch your finger. You don't have to draw blood, and it'll tell you, you're spiking, or you're going low, and it allows you to realize what kind of effect are these foods having on me. If I'm not feeling well, that's 2
yeah,
days.
it's sort of like a behavioral indicator.
Yeah.
Like, something that's like, oh, I did this and now it went off.
So like the last 2 days, I've been fighting off something. Stomach hasn't been 100% right. My blood sugar's been a little bit higher than usual. So normally at night, if I have a big cup of tea, I have some high key chocolate chip cookies, which are low carb because they're made with almond flour. You can get them again at Costco. You can get them on Amazon, but they'll rob you fucking blind. I'm finding that I'm spiking because it doesn't take a lot to spike me when my body is already in that fight mode that you're fighting off some kind of infection. So automatically your blood sugar goes up. And I confirmed that with my endocrinologist. I said that to him too. That I've noticed that when I'm fighting off a cold or a stomach flu or just I'm not feeling right, that my blood sugar numbers spike. It goes, oh, you need, when you're fighting something, because your blood sugar can go up 20, 50 points because your body is using that as fuel to fight the fight. So I always found that interesting. Again, you only know how to deal with this stuff once you actually you have a problem, and you decide to view it and say, how can I fix this? How can I address this? So now, Rach took notes for this show.
Just to organize certain things, and
you've never seen me take. I
present them to people.
I was the noteless wonder even when I was a supervisor. I took notes in the field, but when it came to meetings and stuff,
oh no, you have to.
Oh, I had to in the field, but I'm saying,
and you had to in the meeting. Oh, staff. Oh yeah.
Oh, my notes were minimal. I was, and the personal notes I took with me. Oh my god, it was just usually just one word to remind me to say something of whatever. But no, Rach did some real notes because last week we were asked by one of the viewers in the live stream,
about Ménière's disease and how, what can you do to sort of help yourself with that, and so I said, oh well, this is interesting. Finding out about different conditions that can impact people. And of course, I always come at it, trying to understand what can we do with it through, different means, whether they be like, traditional medical treatments or, alternative treatments like yoga or breathing exercises, things like this. So yeah, I found out some very interesting things. So basically Meniere's disease is a vestibular issue. It originates from inside your inner ear, and it impacts your balance in a big way. So what happens for people with this is that they get this buildup of fluid that gives them vertigo. The room will feel like it's spinning, nausea, often, and that's during like an active attack, and so that this increases like difficulty with balance and difficulty, increased fall risk and things like that. And it's a pretty rare disease. Like only about like 200,000 people here in the States suffer with it. Or trying to live with it. And the issue is that it's one of those chronic conditions that doesn't really have a cure. It's more about how can you, what kind of treatments can you do to make life easier for you? So, there are certain surgeries that they do. There's certain, there's other interventions that they're able to give to people to be able to help them. But, some of the stuff that people go through that have this disease, they often feel like this fullness in their ears. Often they lose hearing. I thought the balance aspect was really interesting as somebody who struggles with balance. Because of my eyes, because I'm not sure whether it's because of my nystagmus. It seems like maybe it could be because of nystagmus, but also
What now? Time out. What's nystagmus?
Sort of thank you. When your eyes have frequent, unusual movements.
Okay.
So you'll see my eyes move all around everywhere, just basically trying to seek out the picture because I'm missing certain cells on my retinas that, like pigment cells on my retina that help to reflect the picture. So my eyes move around a lot so that this way it can fill in the blanks and be able to give as full of a picture as possible. So that's what that is. And I thought it was interesting too. I said, one of the symptoms of Meniere's can be that someone experiences the nystagmus related to stuff going on in the inner ear.
Interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. So looking a lot into balance and stuff lately. So and yeah, that's not the only reason. Like, other aspects of my musculature, like my core, aren't very strong. So I'm working on that to be able to, improve balance as much as I can. But back to the Meniere's disease. It's something that is really disruptive for people because you just don't know when an attack will happen. An attack of vertigo is basically, what happens during this. And, it's very disruptive for somebody who, might be working in certain jobs, in a lot of jobs that never knowing when an attack is going to happen and when they might have it. So for a lot of people, anxiety goes along with it. And so,
sense.
Yeah. And so a lot of the, there are some treatments, they, I was looking on the Mayo Clinic and Johns Hopkins websites. And so, there's certain medical interventions that they can do. Like some people benefit from surgery, but I don't know, like the studies seem to sort of, contradict each other when I was looking around, so that's always something you're going to talk with your doctor about. But, there's certain maneuvers that you can do. I think the name was James from last week, talked about Epley maneuvers. These are certain head movements that you can do in your bed at home. And there's other ones. What were they called? And they're very similar. What were these other ones called? Saman maneuvers, and they're very similar, but they just have like different ways that you put your head. And the issues that's going on when somebody gets vertigo with this disease is that so in our ear we have a structure called the ultracle.
Oh, look at me.
Ultracle.
I was
it's like I'm Spanish. I'm going ultracle.
I've never even been adjacent to the medical field, so I don't know.
So there's in your inner ear, there's a structure called the ultracle, and it has these crystal, like calcium crystals inside there that somehow these little calcium crystals are able to help us be able to know sort of where our head is in space, and detect motion and things like that. And so because of the fluid buildup that people with Ménière's have, these crystals get displaced, and they get displaced into the semicircular canals of the ear, and they don't belong in there. So they're not able to accurately tell the person really where they are in space. And so this is why they sort of get like a spinning feeling, and so doing these head movements with, these maneuvers, oh my God, what is this one called again? I keep forgetting this name. The Samans and the Epley maneuvers, they help to be able to move those crystals back where they belong. And so that's why these things are really helpful. And they are things that they don't take a long time to learn and to be able to do at home. They have videos of them on YouTube. And, as you learn these, you can be able to, just respond to, having an attack by just being able to, get yourself in the bed or sitting or, so that you can be able to practice these maneuvers to help stop the spinning, to help stop the vertigo. And so, by getting these crystals back where they belong, it can help. Sometimes people need to do these maneuvers more than once to be able to get that to happen. But that's something like being able to like ask your doctor about and be able to learn how to do it at home, even if it's that you want to follow along with a video for it, or you definitely want to find these things out before the attack happens so that you're ready to go and it's on autopilot. So yeah, these things are like really important. And then like there's different types of physical therapies that different movements that people can do with their body while they're maintaining a fixed gaze on some object in the room. That's something. And as I was reading about that, it made me think of different balance poses that we do in yoga, where you find a drishti in the room. Drishti is like a point of focus, whether that's some spiritual item or just some random thing. Sometimes for me, it's the green light from the camera on my computer, just being able to find something fixed in the room to be able to focus the gaze on, can help, settle things and help with balance. So, there's that, getting a lot of rest, being able to take rest like after attacks or, just in general, being able to get rest is really important to, maybe preventing
Interesting.
attacks from coming on. And a lot of times people like are afraid at bedtime because, this is when attacks kind of happen for a lot of people. So, just being able to like move your head around slowly, like especially after an attack, you don't really want to move your head around so much. You don't want to watch TV or have bright lighting, things like that could possibly cause you to go back into having an attack again. So
now I'm going to ask a question. And again, folks, we're never scripted. It sounds like that would be someone that would probably, get the warnings on like for the video games, where it tells you that if you're subject to seizures or certain things, these lights may set off certain attacks. I'm wondering if that
right, especially after you've had one.
Okay.
I don't think you want to put on an Oculus. They might not be like the best. It might not be so comfortable for them to do Oculus.
Right, because your sense of where you are can certainly not be where you are.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, that's a good point for gamers. Yeah, Oculus might not be,
speak to your doctor.
The best gaming, and if somebody does have experience using an Oculus with this condition, it'd be really interesting to hear about how you're doing it. So other things that people can do, like we're talking about that fixed point, things like meditation, a lot of people find helpful. Just being able to, it's that fixed point type of meditation, not necessarily the meditation that you would do, with your eyes closed, because that could definitely be less grounding and, more difficult for somebody to stay like oriented in terms of space.
Right.
And then, like breathing exercises. A lot of yoga therapists recommend things like, the Nadi Sudhi breath, which is like it's breath work. It's like alternate nostril breathing, which I can demonstrate.
You have to hold a nostril down to do that?
Yeah. So there's a mudra. This is Vishnu Mudra. And you just bend your first and second finger in and then place these just beside your nose.
Oh, first
finger, second finger, curl. So that you're left with
I don't
something like that.
Up yours.
And if you're not able to do you're doing it. Yeah, you got this.
And when you
and so take a deep breath. You don't have to block anything yet.
Okay.
Exhale. And then take your thumb and block your right. Breathing in through your left.
I think I should have blown my nose before I did this. All right, never mind. Just say
and then you block your left.
I figured out the rest of this.
And out through your right.
I'm a bit congested. I don't think they want to see snot bubbles going.
Yeah, and you just alternate nostrils this way.
I'd rather drink a little wine. That makes me feel better.
I'm doing this for several minutes. Helps you reset your nervous system. So like it helps tremendously with anxiety and things like that, which is, something that can come along with Ménière's. A lot of anxiety to the point that, for some people, they recommend psychotherapy to be able to cope with the anxiety of, holy shit, when am I going to have my next attack? It's just so sudden and I never know. And, it's not, I was like, oh, well, when I first was looking at their recommendation for psychotherapy, I was like, oh, well, everybody can benefit from psychotherapy.
Not all,
but then it's like
fucking perfect. I don't need psychotherapy.
But then, like, it's funny because, like, when somebody has like a chronic condition, somebody says, oh, you should seek therapy. It's almost like that accusation of, oh, you're telling me this is all in my head? Huh? Sometimes we jump to those conclusions and it's not. Because no psychotherapist would be able to tell you, like, help you identify what are your triggers to the Meniere's attacks. But they will help you be able to learn skills to be able to reduce the anxiety that goes along with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And so, pretty much, and then, like, yeah, so I think I covered them all. In terms of, like, help with it, there's something called,
If you look it up, Shadow, if you're going for psychotherapy, we aren't getting out anytime soon.
oh, that's most of us.
Yeah. They'd be like, tell me about your issues with your mother and your father.
So at certain hospitals, like, they have, like, our Mount Sinai has a Meniere's program. And in major cities, I'm sure there's a hospital that would have a Meniere's program. But God forbid they don't. There is there's, like, a national sort of support. It's
group?
called Vestibular Disorders. Vestibular Disorders Association, VEDA. And and their website is vestibular.org. Put it simple.
Put it simple. Put it simple.
So that this way you can have help, and definitely reach out to the doctor, and get as much physical therapy as you can.
Wouldn't hurt.
Yeah, get as much physical therapy as you can. Any benefit, anything that can be of benefit, jump on it. They even say, like certain dietetic changes, like they tell you not to take a lot of salt, because salt can bring more liquid, more fluid into the ears and everywhere. It's salt.
Right, you retain water with salt.
Yeah, just the same thing is true, like, with caffeine, cigarettes, and alcohol. And yeah, so, like, certain diet changes. What else can people do?
Would strengthening your core help with any of this?
I'm not too sure. They do recommend, like, not when you are recovering from attack or experiencing an attack. They do recommend that people get a lot of aerobic exercise, because, again, the aerobic exercise controls the amount, it can help reduce the amount of fluid.
Right.
So, because the fluid is the thing that's really causing the problem.
So this sounds to me like somebody, in theory, if you are somebody who could, have congestive heart failure, this is something that maybe you didn't have it before you. Not that I have it. But because somebody who could be retaining fluid, this sounds like this could all of a sudden be something that could.
Right. Or if you had like a surgery on your ear that didn't go quite the way it was expected to, different anatomy abnormalities inside your ear. Okay. Things like that.
So,
or like some sort of like autoimmune disorder that might
all right.
impact your fluid. Yeah.
So Rach and I, before we logged in tonight, I was talking with a friend of mine, and they felt, because of a situation at a place where they were associated with, where I guess they were working, when they were treated wrong, that they were second guessing themselves as to their ability to create again, or be, and you know what? And
it's so sad.
But it's human nature to second guess yourself, because
well, that's the nature of abuse. Like, when you're in this abusive relationship, that person sort of undermines your own compass of what you can do and can't do,
right?
Or and your talents.
And we always think of it in relationship to romantic relationships, right? These emotional relationships. That's how we always think about this. I was in an abusive relationship. Oh, was it physically or mental? Oh, it was emotional. Oh, okay. Oh, and what was your spouse, your significant other? And it happens whether you are gay or straight. Doesn't that this happens? But we forget you can be in an abusive relationship where it is a friendship, where one friend is abusive and the other one doesn't know how to get out of it.
Right.
It could be a work relationship, um, where somebody who was your supervisor, your boss, treats you like shit because they can, not because you're
Yeah.
not doing the work.
Or some type of community that
Right.
you hold in high esteem, and
Somebody in that community treats
are
you.
really motivated to be a part of and enjoy and have tremendous respect for, and that one person like treats you horribly.
And here's the thing, my personal experience, okay,
Mhm.
and I'm talking about this because I was in law enforcement. I've seen it, and again, not just in romantic relationships. I've seen it within families, siblings. I've dealt with it with friends where they had a falling out, but one is obviously the stronger personality than the other. Um, yes, you're in Shadow's in an abusive relationship with the current administration. I don't even think they know we exist, dude. Okay. $7. Oh, you're right. You're in the People's Republic of California. $7 a gallon. I
Oh wow.
I meant to get gas on Wednesday, and I neglected to. I saw the price, and I went, "Oh, I'll get it Friday." On Friday, I went to get gas, and it was already up like 21 cents. I was like, "Holy shit!" I'm sure if I swing by later on today, it's gonna be even more. It cost me 45 to fill up my.
Holy shit.
Yeah, no, my
It's
floor.
usually like 35, 40.
Yeah, it was 45, and I kind of went. Oh,
Wow.
but going back to the topic at hand, when it comes to abusive relationship, one thing you should not do is be overly harsh on yourself once you are out of it.
Hmm.
Because once you are out of it, all right, once you've removed yourself from that situation, you've already started the healing process. Doubting yourself and like, oh, well, I really should never participate in this again because if I was any good, I wouldn't have been abused, right?
Wow.
There's some of that too. We take a lot of this shit, and Rachel's a professional when it comes to this stuff.
Hmm.
I am
I'm just sitting here going, wow, that poor person.
but
Because I kind of know.
well, but here's the thing.
And the dynamic and
The dynamic is the same dynamic that I would see as a cop in
right,
the
you
South
internalize
Bronx
it.
in Manhattan. It's my fault that I was treated like a piece of shit, and therefore I'm out of the situation now. But I'm not worthy, and I
Yeah.
can't. I have nothing to give because I allowed this shit to happen. Some of the shadows never look back, but sometimes you have to look back and assess. And there's nothing wrong in saying, why did I get into this situation?
Right.
That you should do.
What was my need? What was that? Yeah, this is really good. What was my weakness here? What was my need? What do I need to do for myself? Because it sounds like that still hasn't been met in this abusive situation, that the person used that issue against me, kind of
Right.
thing. Yeah.
And again, most of us have, if maybe you saw it with a friend of yours and their spouse, right? And it doesn't have to be the man abusing the woman or the woman abusing the man. It doesn't have anything to do with gender or
No, 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 no.
sex or any of that stuff. It has everything to do
Power and control.
about power and control. And I think if you look at these situations, especially, listen, there are some people who should never be a boss. Okay. My father turned down a promotion with the phone company because he said, I do not have the right personality to be a boss, to be a supervisor.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? He's probably right. Because to be a boss, a supervisor, the way I have always done it is I am in most situations, I would say, like, listen, I'm your older sibling, okay? I'm 21, you're 15, our parents died, and I've got custody of you, but we're still siblings, we're still
Mm-hmm.
parallel to a lot, but I am now responsible for you. So I need you to work for me, and I will take care of you. There's a give and take. There's a back and forth. A bad supervisor, a
Right.
bad person in a relationship just takes. They
Yeah.
never give back, and they promise, but they never actually fulfill those promises. Oh, yes, don't worry, hon. Yeah, no, I'll take care of your medical bills. Yeah. 2 years later, hey, I got bill collectors coming. No, hon, I'll take care of your medical bills. Bad bosses, right? Some of these jobs, right? It's like, I know I'm not working under any kind of contract, but I haven't been paid in X number of months. Oh, well, at the end, it's card coming in, but I still need you to do X, Y, because you know what? Don't worry, man. I'll take care of you. I'll take care of you.
Yeah, you'll get it in the end.
It's manipulation. These
Yes.
fuckers, again, could be a male, could be a female.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. The behavior is
The behavior is manipulative.
yes,
And we can all be manipulated. And some of it, I think, in some cases, is as I don't want to say the victim, but as you can go into this and think, well, but I'm needed. Obviously, I'm taking some abuse, but it's because they need my skills. They need my emotional support. They can't help themselves. You make excuses for them. All right. And I think that in the end is what makes you the most angry at yourself. Is when you look back at yourself and you go, why the fuck? Why the fuck was I allowing myself to be put into this situation?
yeah. Because at the end of the day, like, that's an even harder thing to deal with. Like, if I'm the person who let it happen and I had the control, then I could have prevented it.
Right.
And like that sort of neutralize it a little bit and gives you the power back where, I was abused and this person hurt me and, I didn't have control in that relationship.
And you know what?
And that's a really painful, scary thing
It is, and especially because
that a lot of people run from.
But you know what? And this is something that people don't realize, but in a lot of ways, this is a rock, paper, scissors type of game. Because you may find yourself in situations where, quote, you're the dominant individual and this doesn't come up. And then all of a sudden, you're in a different relationship. And again, could be work, could be a community, where somebody in a position of authority or power, suddenly they're the paper covering up your rock. They're the rock that your scissors are breaking on. And you're like, how did this happen? How did I put myself in this situation? Realizing that you're in it and extraditing yourself from it is the first and most important step. Everything else is gravy. Everything else is gravy. Realizing
that it's over
yes.
and I see this for what it is. Now it's the time to be able to say, like, okay, how did that person work that magic?
Now, Shadow has a very good point.
Yeah, what's that?
I have noticed that the number one issue is lies at the beginning of the relationship.
Yeah.
I can certainly say that in this situation, yeah. And it's lies, or it's omissions of truth, or it is not fully explaining, or it's not even answering, right? Sometimes the biggest lie is when you just don't even answer. And sometimes you're the one I was questioning, right? And you're like, oh, well, maybe they didn't hear me, or maybe I insulted them by asking that question. Now, you didn't insult them by asking that question. They're manipulating you by not answering that question, because the question was important enough to be asked. It probably should be answered. So these are things, again, it doesn't just apply to what we traditionally think of as a relationship. It is employment in our gaming industry. Okay, sometimes you go, oh, I want to be published, right? I want my art to get out there, and people get abused for it. I've seen this going on for years. Now, sometimes they get abused for it, and the abuser, I can go back years on this one. I was on a project, and way before I became the nobody that I am, I was the nobody that I still was. Um, the artist, I mean, I got, I don't know, maybe like a 25% off the sale price. The artist was getting, I don't know, like $5 a piece of art. And it wasn't necessarily art that I thought was awesome, but I was like, how are they getting like $5 for a piece of art? They should be getting paid more. Well, don't worry about it. They're like in the Philippines, and that for them is a lot of money. That's not how it works. That was abusive.
Yeah.
That
exploitive.
That was exploitive and abusive. And then I was like, you know what? I guess we can't. I don't have any more ideas. I can give this company. And then the old dead turtle flipped up with the in the end anyway.
Oh, they
Yeah,
they went belly up.
It went belly up. But these are things that apply on so many levels. The worst thing I think, though, is the self-doubt that comes afterwards. How did I allow this to happen? Why did I allow this to happen? How fucking stupid am I to allow this to happen? I must be a worthless piece of shit to allow this to happen. We all been in a situation where we said that. And you can't do that. You can't. What you can say is, I allowed this to happen. Why? Oh, because I was looking for X recognition. I was looking to be part of this new startup, and they promised me the world, and I got jacked and shit. Figure out what was motivating you. That's good, because that way, that can't be used to take advantage of you in the future. You got to look at yourself. And again, I said this in the past about your general health and other aspects. We don't like looking at ourselves. We can be our worst critic.
Yeah.
I had a boss when I was a police officer in the late 90s. We had annual reviews, and he would hand you the blank annual review and say, go rate yourself.
Oh, my God.
And you'd be like, huh?
I had that, too.
He goes, go rate yourself.
I hated that shit. I just wanted them to
Yeah, and I go, why do I have to rate myself? Because he goes, because I want to see what you're going to say, because I can guarantee you, I think of you a lot better than you think of yourself.
Yeah, that's what she said too.
And there were people that would give themselves fives. He knew who were going to. James, you got to listen to the replay. Listen to the replay. Rach did some research, so you're going to have to go back a bit earlier. She did it, but I'm sorry we missed you. We weren't sure you're going to be here. So you got to go back.
But hey, it's great to see you now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So go back, listen to it. Rach covered your topic. So
hopefully I didn't butcher anything. Hopefully you're not going to look at it and say,
yeah.
She's full of shit.
She did research, okay? She did. Oh, wow, 3 sides. She did research.
Well, I just needed to remember the names of those the maneuvers.
So, no, she did a great job. So, I cannot stress enough. We are our worst critics when it comes to anything. I know people in this industry, people who have been published for, I don't know, the last 10 years, people that are critically acclaimed, not just great reviews, but by other people and other publishers. And they're like, oh, X, my God, if you can get them to write a product for you, oh my God, it is awesome. They write some great stuff. And these people often suffer from the fear of being a fraud, that somehow they're going to one day wake up and people are going to say, oh man, this person he doesn't know shit. This artist, she can't draw for shit. And they have this fear that they're going to be found out as frauds, because that's that self-doubt.
Oh, the imposter syndrome that people get.
So, these are things that we, as people, as humans, have to realize that if we look at ourselves, we would probably be our worst self-critic. But, and I went through this for myself, we like to put the blinders on, especially when it comes to our health, right? And it's like, oh, I'm not overweight. No, I'm not,
Oh, that's so easy to put blinders on. Until you get in front of like the 3-sided mirror thing in Macy's.
But again, part of that secret is you have to do that self-assessment. Okay.
Yep.
And I'm not talking about if you're a guy, feel yourself for testicular cancer. If you're a woman, maneuver your boobs around to try to find out if you have breast cancer. I'm not talking about that shit. I'm saying you
just do that anyway. But
what I'm saying is you got to look at yourself and say, all right, where am I at? Where do I need to be? And if you can really do it, and this is the hard one, what are the weaknesses about me that others can exploit? Because when you know what the weaknesses that others can exploit are, you can avoid being exploited by them. You know? And I think that's, James, I always rate myself as an average. I do my job as best I can. That's what is expected.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I think we were on a scale of 1 to a 5. I used to tell my staff, so I used to have people go, and people bust their asses, right? And I'll be like, yeah, I gave you a 4. A 4? 1 out of 5. I go, well, here's a reason why. If I give you a 5 and you ever are less than you are right now, guess what? You're only going to go down. They're going to see that you were a 5 1 year and a 4 the next. I'd rather you be a steady 4, and occasionally I give you a 4.5 when I'm looking to get you promoted, than have you as a 5 when you can't get promoted, and then have it bite you in the ass later. I always, because that's how it had been explained to me, and I was like, and it makes sense. And I got my staff discretionary promotions better than any other supervisor at my location, because I had people that would work. They worked for me. They didn't necessarily do it for my boss. They did it for their boss as a personal favor. And I knew how to write. I was a good report maker and taker, and I knew how to, because of gaming and everything else, I knew how to write and paint the proper picture when it needs to get painted. And that's, I think, a secret that we need to be able to do for others. But when we assess ourselves, it's got to be more by the book. Assess yourself honestly.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy. I still have things about myself that I'm like, oh man, I really.
We all have our little like self delusions, you know. Like
I don't have many delusions.
Not like that, not like psychotic ones, but just.
I'm not talking about psychotic ones. I'd like to lose about 30 pounds. I also like to eat. So I don't know how those
it's so hard to reconcile.
It's like I can keep my blood sugar generally within range, but oh my God. I guess maybe it's too much protein and fat. It ain't the carbs that's doing it, So I mean that's James, yes, gaming made me a better cop. I can guarantee you that it made me a better cop.
Yeah.
2 things. Gaming and working retail for 8.5 years made me a better cop.
Because you had that customer service experience.
I had the customer service experience, so I understood that aspect. And gaming allowed me to think out of the box, think quickly, improvise. And there were actually times, I think I've mentioned this before, but I'm not sure if I mentioned on this cast.
Yeah, retail was helpful for social work too.
Yeah, but there were times as a cop, especially in my first 2 or 3 years, where I would be on a job and I'd be like, oh my God, what the hell do I do with this bag of shit? And then I'd reach into myself, a little voice would turn on, you're like, bink, and you'd be like, dude, role play being a cop. I went, wow, that actually kind of makes sense. Don't think that you're a cop. If you were playing a cop in game, what would you do? So you're kind of stepping back to step into the role. And
you just couldn't use your torch for anything.
Yeah.
Right? It gave me anything like, oh, your torch, and you guys like to set things on fire.
Yeah, no. We tried to avoid things like that.
Okay.
But I mean, again, I would just I did that a number of times, and then it dawned on me, it's like I'm actually stepping out of myself to role play a police officer as a police officer. I was like, damn, that's interesting. I don't know if anybody was like, like a psych student writing a paper on that. I'm happy to be a subject, but it was just bizarre. I was like, and it worked. It literally worked because it took away the pressure of I have to make this decision based upon the patrol guide and this, but nothing here fits within the patrol guide. No. Role playing, right? You got to act. Well, what happens if you don't act right away, right? The DM's going, dude, what are you doing? Come on, give me the answer.
You only have so much time to make your decision.
Yep. So for me, that was a huge blessing. And like Rachel's saying, retail, I learned how to get yelled at by people over jack and shit. And I learned how to tell people who like there's one of my favorite ones. This woman, she brings in bath towels. They were white bath towels. She apparently washed them with other clothing, and now they were.
She washed her butt with it.
Now they were like streaked pink, with the pink streaks through them.
Oh no!
And she's telling me we got to take them back. They're defective. And I went, man, we're not taking this back. She's like, well, no, you have to take it back. Look, I put it to the wash. I go, what'd you put it to the wash with? She goes to me, what do you mean?
My red table.
I go, what did you put it to the wash with? She goes, well, with wash. I go, these are whites. You can't put them to the wash with colored.
You can't wash them in one with all these colors.
Right.
Yeah.
She's like, no, you're taking them back. Ma'am, all due respect, I am not taking them back. But I will get our divisional manager to tell you the same thing. And I went to Warren, my divisional manager, and I told him what's going on. And he's like, what the fuck? I go, she washed them with something. So he goes back, looks at it, and he goes, yeah, we're not taking this back. She's like,
oh, wow, he had your back.
Oh, no, Warren was good. She's like, but I bought them here. He goes, that's great. And you can walk out of the store with them because we're not taking them back. I'll never shop here again. That's good because we don't want your business if you can't understand how to properly do your own laundry.
Wow.
He's also the same person who on a Christmas Eve, we closed at 6. It was 6:35. People were still trying to get online. And you hear over the store loudspeaker, this is Warren Lissiker, store manager. The store's been closed for 35 minutes. We are releasing the guard dogs within the next 3 minutes.
Someone was in the back going,
within the next 3 minutes, 30 seconds. I would advise everybody who is not an employee to make it to the exits immediately. I witnessed him doing it because I was my table was done. I was finally leaving.
Did people have a laugh over that, or were they just like, "Oh shit, the dogs are coming"?
There were customers screaming like, "They're gonna release the dogs! You gotta take my purchase. I need it for Christmas. I gotta buy this gift. I don't want to get bit by dogs." Most people though left pretty promptly. I mean, that was awesome stuff. You could not get away with that shit now because somebody would go,
no,
I got to record it on my phone. Did you hear? Yeah. They released dogs in the department store. I couldn't believe my own ears. Could you see that?
Yeah, and the whole returning that stuff. No, that would never happen. They would never refuse the return.
Oh, no.
Like Thomas, my brother, worked out in he worked in a Bed Bath and Beyond, and so like customers would like have their family down like in Florida to visit, whatever, and so things like towels or sheets. They'd have sheets for the bed for the family. Family would stay. Family would go home, and then they'd be ready to return all this shit. And Thomas would always like have to take it back.
No. When I worked in electronics, we didn't take back TVs or VCRs or any of that stuff.
Yeah,
because people used to try to bring it back after the Super Bowl. So now James has a question that I have to answer. Did you play good cop or bad cop? And I'm gonna tell you.
It depended on the night.
Depended on the night. And honest to God. So me and one of my partners, Louis and I, we were drinking buddies. We would go out after the last tour, go out to a local pub out here in Queens, bring our own chips. Heck, the bartender got to the point where he'd buy us chips. He knew we were always coming in on I think it was like a Tuesday night. We'd always come in. So Louis and I, if we had a slow night where we weren't doing a narcotics operation, we were just doing patrol, we'd get out there and go, Louis, listen, I've already written my one mover for the night. Did you write yours? He goes, yeah. So we're not looking to write anything else tonight, right? He goes, no. Well, there's a defective headlight going that way. He goes, oh, well, we got to stop him and tell him a defective headlight. I go, yeah. Do you want to be good cop or bad cop? He's like, you know what? You be the bad cop. I want to be the good cop. Like, all right, so I'm going to be the bad cop, so I do all the interactions. License, registration, proof of insurance, please. Uh-huh. You know your headlight's out. Oh, yeah, I'll get that fixed. Uh-huh. You know your insurance card is partially torn. Huh? Your insurance card is partially torn. You do realize that that's defacing property, huh? Yeah, exactly. I'll be right back, and I'd walk off, and Louis would lean over from the other side of the car and go, "Yeah, he's had a bad night tonight. He's really."
That's funny.
He goes,
He's really going through something.
he goes, yeah, I think his girlfriend just dumped him.
Oh no!
So he goes, let me see if I can take care of this. So Louis goes back, and then Louis and I would go back, and then I would just start talking really loud to Louis about nothing. Do you want to get pizza later on? He goes, yeah, let's get pizza. Like we're yelling back and forth over nothing. And then I would slam the paperwork on the car dashboard that I was in, and Louis would grab it, take it back. Goes, listen, I talked to him. I calmed him down. Listen, just do us a favor. Get your headlight fixed, all right? Because yeah, he was gonna write you like 3 summonses, and so just be good, all right? Just drive safely. And then we had a great night, and we didn't write a summons. So guy got here. Yeah, what you did in the late 90s, you could not do today.
I mean, that's part of somebody's like, stories that they repeat, and when they're out for drinks with the bar, like, oh my God, thought I was in such trouble.
Thank God for the good cop.
Was a real dickhead, and
that guy, that chubby guy with the mustache, I really thought he was going to write me a book of summonses, and here was the other thing that we used to do. If somebody was just an ass, you were supposed to give them 2 copies of every summons. Don't ask us why. There were 2 copies for them. If you were a normal cop, since it was 2, so they wouldn't lose one, you just gave them the 1 copy. But if somebody really was annoying you, they were being a real ass, you wrote them 2 summonses, right? So now it's 4 copies. You take all 4 copies, you crumple them up, so they're kind of like not crumple, but like not all neat, so they're kind of disheveled, and you go, here, as you hand back the paperwork. Here's your summons. Now they think they got 4. And then you drive off. And then they got to look at it and realize they got 2. This is stupid shit that I did in the late 90s. I was a younger man, but you had ways to punish people. Are New York City cops mostly Irish? No.
Back in the day, maybe.
Back in the day, and the reason why it was called a paddy wagon is because
it was more for the Irish drunks.
It was for the Irish drunks, but the Irish were almost like getting shanghaied. They were pretty much steered into the profession back in the early 1900s. When I came on in the 90s, I had a commanding officer who was what do they call him? He was born here, raised in Ireland, and had a brogue, but he spent his formative years in Ireland. He had
dual citizenship.
Right, but he was American born, but he had a heavy Irish brogue. I knew a lot of Irish cops, but I worked with a lot of Hispanic cops.
Yeah, it's very diverse.
Black. I mean, it's a very diverse department. I always had fun. If you've seen me do my voices, the guys I used to work with used to love me with my voices because occasionally I would slip in with my voice when doing a car stop. Mom, I need your license and registration and proof of insurance. Always when I wasn't going to actually write them anything. If you were just doing a car stop because there was a violation and you were going to give them a warning in the end, you could play with it a little bit. You didn't want to have to keep the accent up when you had to go to court 3 months later. Oh, my officer had a brogue. Oh, shite. But I always wanted to go over like St.
Yeah,
Patrick's
you'd have
Day.
to put that in your notes on their little pad.
Yep. I always wanted to go over as Sector Eddie and go, 4-1 Eddie to Central, 4-1 Eddie. I'd be advised that show up. Yeah, it's going to be a 90 zebra. Nothing there. And can you show me going out to the pub for a wee bit? I always wanted to do that, but it would not have flown. I'm a bit of a jackass, but it would have been right. I did know one cop that had his nose bent a little bit. He happened to be Italian, and things would fall off trucks. I mean, literally, they would fall off a truck, and then what fell off the truck, like, I don't know, a barbecue, would then go to his house just outside the confines of the city. And then
was the swinger guy.
the swinger guy who had a surgically enhanced penis. And then he would donate his barbecue to the precinct. This is on 9/11, and it's just kind of like, where did this? Oh, don't worry about it. It fell off a truck. Okay, I'm afraid I don't want to know. Yes, this guy, surgically enhanced pierced penis, and I know that for a fact because he was nice enough to go, hey, Stein, did you drop $5 in a bar? And I looked down, looked for my $5 that I didn't drop, and there's this schlong with the piercing. With the piercing. And I'm like, holy fuck. Yeah, that's surgically enhanced and pierced. That's why I was out for 3 days. I'm like, Michael, you are a fucking, and it's not bad, Mike. I'm like, you are just a fucking asshole. Well, you weren't going to look at it otherwise. I'm like, where's my $5? After what I saw, I deserve $5 or a beer. So, the Boston cops, by the way, are great with the NYPD. Boston fans coming down for Boston games, great to the New York City cops. There's a lot of rivalry, but it doesn't really happen. Fake party day in Manhattan. Today is fake party day in Manhattan.
Oh, really?
I know. I don't know what to tell you. Did I ever tell you about my old man's gun shop who sold mostly police equipment and CB radios? And man, I could tell you some stories. I'm sure you could. And gun shops are going to have a lot of cops, sheriff officers, corrections officers, retirees. But yeah, and those are things. Those and the buff shops, the equipment shops that didn't sell the firearms but sold the uniforms and the patches and everything else. Fake Patty's Day. There's no such thing as a fake Patty's Day. There is St. Patty's Day, and there's not St. Patty's Day. Do not drink green beer on St. Patty's Day. My local pub does not do the green beer shit.
No.
Thank God. I don't need to be pissing green in my food coloring. But in any case, wow. I can't believe it, Rach. We're going to be hitting an hour in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You all are awesome. And I say that every day, every time we're on. I think before we logged in, we're at like 1,127 subscribers to this channel. So that's awesome. It's right now 12. Hold on a second. Not 11:25. I think it's 12:27. Hold on. I got to check. I haven't had that much wine so I can get this wrong. 12:27. All right.
Oh, no.
12:27. So we're 23 away from the point where Tenkar digs into his drive-through RPG.
To giveaway time.
So what's going to happen when we hit that is that on the Wednesday night live stream, we're going to give away $100 in drive-through gift certificates. Friday night, 2 consecutive Friday nights, one with Glenn, one with Joe and the rest of the crew. We're going to give away 50 and 50. And then one Saturday night, we're going to give away 50 on one of these casts. Because, again, this is your money. You should enjoy it. So, and yes, blame it on the spell check. It's always the spell check. I couldn't tell you why. I use way too many voices. I use them in game. I've been doing this since high school, at least. Because my mother was somebody who did a lot of, funny voices. And she would do it in public. So, I do it when I'm. Oh, real one is over. Oh, spring break. Students were upset about missing Green Beer Day, that they invented a new holiday, Fake Patty's Day. All right.
Oh,
I can understand that
it's
now.
a thing.
It's a thing. It's a thing. I've worked St. Patty's Day many a time, and it's a fun parade. First time I wasn't even on the parade route because I was a Bronx cop, and they don't put Bronx cops on parade routes. They put us off the parade route so we can't get in trouble and beat up people. And then I was a Manhattan cop without any cops from my precinct coming down with me, and I needed to find 8 cops that weren't aligned with anything, and I couldn't. And I saw some Bronx cops, and I'm like, hey, I need 8 people for my roster. Where's your boss? Oh, don't worry, Sarge, we're good. I go, I know. It says Manhattan Calabrass. I was a 401 cop before I got promoted. Oh, okay. Because they didn't want to work for a Manhattan piece of shit. I understand that. We had this in the community too, right? It's like, oh, well, sure, they're a gamer, but they're a 5e gamer. Dude, listen, I write 5e stuff, but I'm an OSR gamer at heart, but 5e is where the money is. And everybody's like, oh, well, in that case, you're okay. Right? Same thing. Folks, as always, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Really, James gets to go back probably from about 20 minutes in or 25 minutes in. Rach kicks off. She covers your topic pretty in depth. We don't prep the stuff ahead of time between us, so there's no. So it's all new to me, and I learned more than I expected to. So it was pretty good. We are still in the midst of COVID. Well, there's less COVID than there was. So again, use your common sense. I'll leave it at that. Be safe. Be well. Don't get congested like I am, because I can hear myself wheezing a little bit.
You won't be able to alternate nostril breathing.
No, I can't do the alternate nostril breathing.
Well, yeah.
And I don't know why wouldn't you just do it like this and like that? Why do you gotta like do like the? Oh wait, no. I guess that's not the right one, right?
Vishnu Mudra.
Vishnu Mudra. All right, whatever. Folks, be safe.
No,
be well.
sometimes people can't do that, so it's just
live long and prosper. Be safe, be well. God bless. Roll those dice. And before I forget, there are some Wizards of the Coast TSR news. Wizards of the Coast filed their countersuit. It is a beauty, and looks like it may be becoming personal.
It's a good read.
It's a good read. I will try to put something up probably right around midnight. So we shall see. Unless we go down to karaoke, in which case I'll be back, so I won't be doing any of that shit. But just saying. All right. Later, and thank you.
Take care, everybody.